everyone here is equal, and formerly incarcerated people should feel like they have an equal place in this movement. With that being said, we started our Durham campaign in November 2010. We've been successful in getting both the city and the county of Durham to remove questions about criminal record history from early on in the employment process. They've delayed that inquiry until a conditional offer of employment has been made. They put in key procedural protections, such as pre-adverse notice before.
Could you explain pre-adverse?
So pre-adverse notice, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's a federal piece of legislation, requires that the hiring authority give the applicant pre-adverse notice, a letter saying that we intend or could potentially use your criminal record history against you as far as being able to get this prospective job. We made sure that that was included in their policy. In addition, we really pushed and successfully got them to include a procedural step that allowed an individual to submit evidence of rehabilitation. So here you have a criminal arrest or conviction in your history. Now that may be many years old. Now you can submit evidence of rehabilitation, vocational evidence, substance abuse treatment, anger management, whatever that may be, either in writing or through an in-person interview. And finally, we made them connect a substantial relationship between the underlying criminal activity and your prospective job. I think the easiest way to really highlight how important that is that I think everyone in the room would agree that maybe someone who has an embezzlement conviction, maybe they shouldn't be the comptroller. That might not be the best job, right? Because there's, at least initially, there are some mitigating factors such as the passage of time, things of that nature that you could possibly point to, but we really wanted to make sure that they established a nexus between the underlying criminal activity and your prospective job duties. And we've been able to do that thus far through administrative policy. That was not our initial ask, but being trained as someone, as an advocate with a law license, Negotiation 101, you ask for what you want and you accept what you can get. So our ask was an ordinance. We ended up working back to an administrative policy with the hope that we can create these models of success. For example, assuage some of the fears that government might have with passing an ordinance by showing how successful the policy is working. Once that is done, maybe a year or so later or 6 months or so later, we go back and ask for an ordinance. The role that directly affected people play. We decided very early on that directly affected folks should be the champion of this movement. You see no other movement, whether it's Susan J. Komen breast cancer survivors, whether it's American with Disabilities Act, whether it's people who are advocating for changes in mental health laws, the people who are directly affected have to be at the forefront of the movement. Not just when you need them to show up at the rally, but they need to be around the table strategizing and giving their expertise and input on what a successful policy would look like. So we made a concerted effort to do that, and it's been a challenge because, you know, our population in some respects is transient. They always can't make city council meetings in the middle of the day because they're actually looking for a job or they're actually trying to hustle up on some day labor or whatever the issue may be. And that's one of the challenges that we faced in educating elected officials and policymakers, that they might want to set these meetings a little bit later in the day, or perhaps make yourself available on the weekend, or be even willing to go where the people are. Don't always make them have to come to you. So it's been a constant exercise and struggle. It's been a constant exercise in even educating and pushing so-called progressive, left-leaning organizations to get out of the way and to let formerly incarcerated people be an advocate for their own change. You know, it was eye-opening and a little bit disarming at the same time to hear a leader of a progressive left-leaning organization say, why would I want to seed into and help formerly incarcerated people be their own advocates and be their own agents for change? What would I do? what would my job do? And on the one hand, it was a little off-putting, but on the other hand, I was like, wow, at least she had the guts to let it come out of her mouth. But that has certainly been a major challenge, and we're going to keep pushing. And, you know, Linda has been a wonderful sounding board. You know, sometimes I just need somebody to talk me off the ledge, you know what I mean? And I give her a call, and she'll talk about how this is a protracted struggle, that you can't just hit it and quit it. Because at the end of the day, the base that we're building, the movement that we're building right now, we'll be able to go back to them again and again for various issues around criminal justice reform. Ban the box in no way should not be seen as a panacea to cure all of our ills. We need to do some sentencing reform. We need to shrink the system. We need to do a lot of different stuff. And the base that and the movement that we're creating now will create that critical mass that can do that. So I appreciate you all letting me be here and share, you know, some of the lessons that we've learned from North Carolina. I look forward to getting to know you all, because at the end of the day, this thing is about relationships. And we got to make some meaningful relationships to sustain this work. So thank you.